Hey guys, Samo here, continuing my presentation of some of my favorite jazz records and probably some of the best jazz records in the history. And today we're staying in the 70s as kind of last week last time when we spoke about GNU High from 1975, the amazing Kenny Wheeler album. And today we're also staying on the ECM label. We're talking about the year 1978 and the album My Song, obviously by Keith Jarrett and his European quartet. And it's kind of the continuation of his 1974 album, Belonging. And My Song, it was a huge hit for Keith, really a big time seller. And I think it's justifiably so. It's really a beautiful record. And the interplay, the tunes, everything, the label behind it, of course, we're talking about the ECM, and of course, Manfred's really good ear, again, plays such an important role. And also the so-called European quartet by Keith. I think, all these three musicians, awesome. We're talking about young Garbarek nowadays. In Europe, probably the biggest or one of the top three biggest jazz stars since, early 1980s or already mid 70s when he started recording, early 70s actually, for the ECM Records label. And, one of the most recognizable saxophone sounds, I think, in the jazz world. Again, like when I talked about Kenny Wheeler last time, Kenny on trumpet, so is Jon on saxophone. And Keith chose an incredible rhythm section. Palle Danielsson on bass and Jon Christensen on drums. These two guys, they played on so many records together, and it's just their sound that it's this Scandinavian vibe, especially Jon Christensen's cymbal work and his creativity. It's, he's one of those amazing drummers. When I speak even to many American, US drummers, New York drummers, they mention Jon, how much they listen to him. And I had the privilege to play with Arild Andersson, the bass player, and we did a beautiful record in trio with Bob Moses. And Arild played a lot with Jon Christensen, and he also had only beautiful words about Jon's playing. They played together as a rhythm section for so many American musicians, from, I think Sam Rivers to Sonny Rollins, whoever came to Europe. They hired Jon and Arild, but in this case, it was Palle on bass. So, this lineup is incredible. Of course, previous lineup by Keith, with Paul Motion on drums equally, but it's just a different vibe, of course, these European musicians bring to the table. And the hit for My Song, what makes this album especially strong are Keith's compositions, Questar, My Song, Tabarka, Country, all these tunes are just, I think, some of the best writing Keith has done, and just it almost has like an Ornette-ish free vibe many times to it. And I really love, this band. And it's a shame they haven't continued their path later. Even would be nice to hear, let's say, this group do a record in the early 90s or something like that, or even later, when they all kind of matured and developed musically differently. So, but anyway, yeah, My Song, one of the best albums of jazz out there. So let me know what you think. Drop some comments, drop your lines. Maybe you prefer Belonging more than My Song, I don't know. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot. Cheers.